In San Francisco in 1981, Chris is trying to survive as a salesman of portable bone density scanners. Every morning he drops his son Junior at the daycare and visits as many hospitals in the city as possible to sell the scanners. Unfortunately, they're pretty hard to sell because they're unnecessary and expensive. When he takes the bus, he often bumps into a crazy hobo that calls the scanner a time machine. Sometimes Chris needs to stay out for longer to try to make a sale, so those times he asks his wife Linda to pick up their son. This always irritates her because she often works double shifts to support the whole family. One night during dinner, Chris finds a Rubik's Cube, which is the latest trend and a gift from a friend of Linda's. She asks Chris if he paid the taxes, but Chris is going to file an extension, frustrating his wife even more. That night Chris plays with the cube and solves it incredibly quickly. The next morning, while Chris is on his daily sale walk, he finds a man stepping out from a very fancy sports car. Chris asks him what he does for a living, and the man replies he is a stockbroker. Chris thinks people had to go to college to get that job, but the man says it's not necessary, they just need to be good with numbers and people. Seeing how happy employees that work in that firm are, Chris thinks he wants that life for himself as well. The next morning, Chris tells Linda that he would be late in the evening because he will stop at an office to apply as a stockbroker. Linda finds it ridiculous and makes fun of his unrealistic dream, and in turn Chris tells her not to talk to him like that, triggering an argument that ends when Linda reminds him they have 2 months of rent to pay. Sometime later, Chris makes his way to a brokerage firm to apply for a job. This firm takes 20 people every 6 months, but only one gets the job. Wanting to look decent, he leaves the scanner to a hippie girl singing on the street, giving her some money to look out for it. Once inside, Chris starts hearing the details of the job and gets the application, but suddenly he notices through the window that the girl is running away with the scanner. Application in hand, Chris immediately leaves and begins chasing her through the city and the station, but the girl escapes by getting into a train. The next day, Chris promises Linda he'll sell the scanner so they don't see it anymore. However, first he heads to the firm to leave the filled up application. He makes sure to personally deliver it to Resource Department Manager Jay so he can